And he's very relishingly chants the holy name. Not like us, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. One who's always chanting the name with great ruchi. That is Bhav. It's like here he gives the example of one of the associates of Radharani says, O Lord Govinda, the girl who is the daughter of King Brisabhanu is now shedding tears, and she is anxiously chanting your name. Krishna, 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 Krishna. So this is Nama Gane Sada Ruchi. And then 8, Asakti Stha Guna Kyane, who's very attached to chanting the glories of the Lord in his pastimes. When one who's in Bhava, he's always eager. Now we're very eager to hear what is the latest politic, what have they done with GST, what is the cricket, who won the cricket match. We're all interested in hearing these things. But one who's in Bhav, he's only interested to hear pastimes of the Lord. And last characteristic of Bhava Bhakti, Pritistad Basati Stale. Pritistad Basati Stale. One who desires, it's not possible to actually do it, one who desires to live in a place where Krishna performed his pastime. It's like we're very fortunate here in NOIDA, and now they made a nice highway just so we can go there to Vrindavan. They thought it was to go to Taj Mahal. It's actually meant for going to Vrindavan. So if one can't be fortunate enough to stay in Vrindavan, then he should always remember Vrindavan. It's like we go to Vrindavan, we go on Prikrama with Deenbandu, then we come back and we're always singing, oh, I went to Vrindavan, we went to Tirkadamba, we went to Vrindakun, we went so many nice places. When can I go again? So somebody who's singing like that, it's actually said that so many people living in Vrindavan, but they all forgot what is Vrindavan. Just engaged in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, doing politics. Hardly any hundreds of thousands of people in Vrindavan, only few is actually realizing what is Vrindavan. But if you're sitting here in NOIDA and thinking, when can I go to Vrindavan? Oh, we went to such nice places. When can I go there again? When can I get darshan of Krishna Balaram and Radha Shyam Sundar? Then you're actually living in Vrindavan. One who's always remembering Vrindavan, he's actually living in Vrindavan. So these are the 9 characteristics of one in Bhava Bhakti. Avyarta kalatvam, not wasting time. Shanti, perseverance. Virakti, detached. Mahasunyata, not desiring respect. Ashabandha, certain of Krishna's hope, mercy. Samukanta, great eagerness. Namagani Sadaruchi, attached to the name. Asakti Gana Kyani, always chanting the glories. And Pritita Vasati Style, who desires to stay in a holy place. So, but sometimes we see these symptoms in persons who are not completely on the platform of Bhav. This is called Rati Abhyas, Abhas, Abhyasni, Abhas, Rati Abhas. Just like Prabhupada explains here, Rupa Goswami actually explains to you that sometimes the impersonalists, they come to Vrindavan and these types of holy places, and they exhibit symptoms that appear to be like Bhav. This is just reflection. Because it's not steady, it doesn't remain. Their real desire is to become one with the Lord. But sometimes we see someone chanting very ecstatically in the kirtan, but they're thinking somehow I've become one with the Lord. This is just a reflection of Bhav. Then there's, one is called reflection, other is chaya. One is pratibimba, other is chaya, shadow. That sometimes by the association, some very rasik bhakt will come, and by hearing from him, that suddenly we get hair standing on end, we get tears in our eyes. that these things do not remain, so it's just shadow attachment. But gradually, by associating, everywhere the same theme is coming, by associating with devotees. So we have to find out advanced devotees and associate with them. Then gradually that shadow will actually, that Vrati Abhas will actually become real Abhas. So by the mercy of real, pure devotees, that Vrati Abhas gradually becomes genuine Vrati or Bhav. So this is, everywhere the same thing is coming, that we have to associate with devotees. Then we'll develop that real Bhav. Now, as we gave example of Bharat Maharaj who achieved Bhav but fell down, Rupa Goswami describes the danger of aparad. He says, by grave offense, real bhava is completely destroyed. And when we come to the platform of bhav, if we somehow create grave offense to some devotee, then our bhava is completely destroyed. By medium offense, bhava turns back into rati abhas, just reflection or shadow attachment. And by slight offense, then bhav turns into inferior quality of bhav. So this was thoroughly described in Anartha Nivriti, because that's the main thing. Committing, one is offenses to the name, other is offense to the devotees. So we'll go back to, because that's the most important one, is Anartha Nivriti. We'll go back there for a minute. This again is talking about offenses to the Lord. Jiva Goswami, in his Bhakti Sandarbha, he describes how bhakti is completely independent, supremely, it's parama swatantra, and all-powerful. And it is the easiest process. And he gives example from the Shastra that there was one sparrow. Now this bird, I've seen him all the way from the Himalayas to the equator. Somehow this bird is everywhere in the world. But one sparrow was sitting by a Vishnu temple, and one hawk came. Hawks and eagles, they like to eat small birds. So the hawk began to chase him, and he was flying round and round the Vishnu temple. That hawk caught him and killed him. But because he was circumambulating Vishnu temple, he went to Vaikuntha. His soul returned. He's a bird, he doesn't know even this is Vishnu temple, then I'm circumambulating. He didn't even know, it doesn't require even knowledge. Bhakti is so powerful, it's completely independent. Just like we saw for doing karma, just like Twasta, he wanted to create a demon to kill Indra. And he made a tiny mistake. Even if I describe it, you won't understand. But there's different types of pauses in Sanskrit. If you make a slight pause, then it becomes possessive. Just like the actual word is Krishnasya Bhakti. But we can say Krishna Bhakti. This is a slight pause. Krishna Bhakti, then it becomes Krishna, devotional service to Krishna. So he made a big pause. He said, Indra Shatro means Indra, who's the enemy. He wanted to create the enemy of Indra, but he said Indra became the enemy of the demon that he created. Slight mistake, this pause was too long. If he said Indra Shatru, then it was the enemy of Indra. He said Indra Shatru, just like one video is there, Hayagriva is trying to understand. Prabhu said, oh, the king. So the king's name was O, or we're saying, oh, the king. It was O, the king. His name was O, because we didn't know anything, so those days. So like that, O, whose king whose name was O, the king. So like that, Indra, Shatra, anyway, it was a tiny mistake. You don't even understand what I'm saying. But it's such a tiny mistake, and the whole yajna was failed. And here, not even knowing this is Vishnu temple or anything, that I should circumambulate, he got Vaikuntha. So then Jiva Goswami says, he asks a question for us, because that's the next question that will come. If bhakti is so easy, why we're having so much trouble? He said, bhakti is easy. The hard part is avoiding offenses, especially to Vaishnavas. Then he quotes from Skanda Puran, one verse, because we sing every day all about the 10 offenses of the holy name. But there's 6 Vaishnava aparas. One verse is there in Skanda Puran. Anti nindandi vaidvesti Vaishnava nabhinandati krudyanti yadino harsham darshanam pattatani shat. Hanti, we know hanti, we do violence. You know, handite handimani, to do violence to a Vaishnava. Hanti, nindanti, that's our favorite one. We love to criticize Vaishnavas. The whole internet was created just for that purpose. Hanti nindanti vaidvesti dvesha, we know raga dvesha, to become envious of a Vaishnava. Hanti nindanti vaidvesti Vaishnava anabhinandati. Abhinandan means to welcome. If some Vaishnava comes and we can really ignore him, that is also offense. Anabhinandati. We don't, at least we say Hare Krishna Prabhu, say something. The Vaishnava is so rare in this world. We see a Vaishnava, we should feel happy. Vaishnava, not to properly receive a Vaishnava. Krudyante. Somehow by Sandhi, the verb is crude, but the noun is crowed. By Sandhi it turns into crowed. So Krudyanti, to become angry with a Vaishnava. Antina nanti vaidvesti Vaishnava nabi Krudyanti yadino harsham darshanam. Yadi, if darshan, we see a Vaishnava and no harsha is there. Yadi no harsham, if we're not feel happy by seeing, we think, oh, Fulana Dasi is coming. Oh, Fulana Das. Like I said, Vaishnava is so rare in this world. We see a Vaishnava, we should feel so happy. It's like sometimes we're traveling around the world, we never see Vaishnava. We never see anybody with tilak, with dhoti, kurta, sari, kanti mala. We see so many faces. And people dressed in so many ways, or not dressed in mostly. One time I was coming back from Europe, and I landed in Delhi, and then I was going to immediately catch a flight to Puri to go for a Navakaleva. I had made my flight that I would just land in Delhi and somebody would meet me at the airport with a ticket to the Bhubaneswar, and I got in the plane, and all of a sudden I looked up, and coming down the aisle, I saw the smiling face of Navyogendra Swami, nice tila, behind him several devotees. And I was feeling so happy. And I flew all around the world, I never saw a Vaishnava. And I was feeling so happy. So, as soon as we see a Vaishnava, we should feel happy. If we don't feel happy, that is also offense. Now we know why. Now we understand why we have so much trouble. Even up to that point, is offense. Yadi no harsham. We don't feel happy on seeing a darshanam. Yadi no harsham, darshanam. Pattatani shat. These are the 6 ways that follow. And back in the Anartha Nivriti, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhuri Kadambini, which I translated, we have some copies here. He says, only way to get free is to beg forgiveness from that devotee. You can't think of all simply chant Hare Krishna, because Hare Krishna mantra destroys so many things. It will not destroy Vaishnava pride. You have to go and beg forgiveness. So anyway, here it's giving, Rupa Goswami is explaining, even up to Bhava Bhakti, there's a danger. By grave offense, we'll lose our Bhava altogether. By medium offense, it goes back to Rati Abash. And by slight offense, it becomes an inferior quality of Bhav. So we have to be very careful. And he gives it the danger of intimately associating with Mayavadis. Our Bhava will turn into Rati Abash or Ahangrupasana, worship of the self as God. So we have to avoid Vaishnava Aparad and avoid associating with Mayavadis. Now Rupa Goswami gives a 4th cause. Apart from sadhana, mercy of Krishna, mercy of devotee, there's a 4th cause for the appearance of Bhav. And what is that? Sadhana in previous life can also be the cause of Bhav. It appears suddenly in a person without scriptural knowledge, sadhana, or mercy. The obstacle in the previous life is now removed, and thus bhakti, bhava bhakti arises. So this is another way that from a previous life, sometimes somebody doesn't show any knowledge, he has no scriptural knowledge, not even anything, he's on the platform of Bhav. And of the four causes, Bhava caused by the mercy of Krishna is the best. And finally, Rupa Goswami says that one should disregard any fault that one may see in a Bhava Bhakta. The Bhava Bhakta still has anarthas and could potentially commit sin or aparad. This distinguishes him from one on the platform of praying, that we'll hear about later. So we give the example of Bharat Maharaj. He was on the platform of Bhava, but he became attached to a deer. So here's that one can potentially commit sin or aparad. One who's on the platform of praying, it's impossible. However, if a Bhava Bhakta does accidentally perform some forbidden activity, externally he should not be criticized due to his shining Bhava Bhakti. He is internally pure. Because of his level of advancement, Krishna takes care of him. And Rupa Goswami gives the example that the moon has got so many spots, but everybody glorifies the moonshine. All the poets, every poem is always written about the moon. And even though it's got so many spots, still it's moonshine. So even if we see faults in a Bhava devotee, we should not, actual Bhava devotee, we should not criticize him. So with this, Rupa Goswami ends the... Now we'll read something from Madhurya Kadambini. This is nectar. This is really nectarine. This is from Madhurya Kadambini, discussing Bhav. At the time of the appearance of Bhav, then we see the devotee fully long to turn towards Bridananandan, to lick the blackness of his limbs, Shamalina, the rosy hue of his lips and eye rims, Arunima, the white brilliance of his moon-like teeth shining in his smiling face, Dhavalima, and the yellow hue of his cloth and ornaments, Pitamya. His throat chokes up and countless streams of tears bathe his body. He longs for his ears to be adorned with the earrings of the song of Krishna's flute, the jingling of his ankle bells, and the sweet sound of his voice, so Swarya, giving the order to serve his lotus feet. Thus it seems that he is running here and there, freezing his motion at every moment, and raising his ears. Then thinking how the tender touch, Kashalaya Sparsha, of the Lord's two hand must be, his body erupts in ecstasy. His nostrils open wide again and again as he inhales, eager to examine the divine fragrance of the Lord's body, Saurabhya. Oh, will I ever be able to taste the nectar of the Lord's lips? Feeling that he has attained the taste, rasana, his tongue feels great joy and he licks his lips. Sometimes feeling like he has obtained direct realization of the Lord in his heart, spurti, boundless joy dances in his heart. Relishing the very, very treasure of the Lord's sweetness, madhurya, he becomes delirious. Then at the disappearance of that feeling, he plunges into grief. In this way it appears if he is decorating his body with the 33 symptoms of sancharita. So this is a little preview. This is the trailer. This is what to come. If we actually get to the stage of Bhav, then we'll feel like this. This was the Vishwanath Chakravarti gives the trailer. Hare Krishna. So with that, we'll end here. And we'll leave room for some questions.
So please narrate some pastime of Krishna that you have.
Well, first let's see if there's any questions. And stay on the subject, then we'll jump subject.
Sometimes it looks like when we don't know the glories of holy name, it's more like when we do chant by own wish, then it's more easy. Then when we know everything, then we make it little difficult for ourselves. You know, Agyat Sukriti is more easy to do.
That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu his verse in Shikshashtra, he says, you have made approach to you so easy, but fortunately I have no attraction. Somehow there's this causeless unattraction that comes in our heart, even though we know everything. But that just means that we've been for millions of years in this material world, mountains of contamination are there in the heart. And actually what happens is just like you come into a very, very dirty room and you start dusting, then immediately there's dust everywhere. It looks like the room looks dirtier than when you started. It looks like the air in Delhi nowadays. So, but you continue cleaning, gradually all that dust will clear away and then we'll see the room is very nice. So it's like that. In the beginning, we have mountains and mountains of dust in our hearts and we start to clean it, then all that dust comes up and we're unable to, though we know all the glories of the name, we're unable to relish. But same thing, abhyas, rasari avata jasa, we just continue and continue. Chanting on beads during the Srimad Bhagavatam class is which stage, bhava or prema? I don't know. I'm unable to answer this question. It means you got up late and you're trying to finish your rounds. Amanina manadena etnista and man Ashunyata. Man Shunyata. In Bhav, what is the difference? It's just difference in degree. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, actually this whole thing of Shraddha to Prem, that is a whole book of Mahaduri Kadambini, which I have here. And there Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, sometimes the things blend one into the other. You can't say this is where Ruchi stops and Bhav Asakti begins, and Asakti stops, they all blend. So this is all blending. We always hear Krishna is more desperate to have us back in his abode. Then why do we take so long to reach home or go back to Godhead? He can purify us in a second or take us in his abode immediately. That's what I just described. Jiva Goswami asked the same question after describing the power of bhakti. But we have to show Krishna that we're serious, and the thing that Krishna most displeases Krishna is when we offend devotees. So that is the thing that's holding us back, is our offenses to Vaishnavas. So many details have been described in these sessions. There's still more details, but I'm not a good scholar. How can I understand the essence of these stages? Just by hearing again and again. Prabhupada, actually in Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada said, some parts of it he says, that you won't understand anything, just go on reading it. One day we'll understand. So sometimes we can't understand. Even I don't understand it. I was a little worried when he told me to talk about Bhav. I have no idea what is Bhav. So I'm still on an earth at liberty. So we just go on main thing is hearing. Actually, Lord Brahma, we've mentioned before, 14th chapter, 10th canto, Lord Brahma says, one who goes on Bhavadiya Bhartam, hearing about Krishna from Sat Mukharatam. Sat means the devotee, because devotee is always speaking Satya, the truth, so he's devotee. Sat Mukharitam, Mukha we can understand mouth. Sat Mukharitam. Anybody who goes on hearing from the mouth of the devotee, suffering the results of his past misdeeds, he becomes the inheritor of the kingdom of God. This daya sometimes means mercy, but it also means inheritance. So he becomes the inheritor, daya bhak, the inheritor of mukti pade, the place where even mukti gets mukti, that is the Golok Dham. So one goes on hearing, and the lecture on this verse, Prabhu says, even without practicing, if someone goes on hearing from the pure devotees, not from the Mayavadis, from the pure devotees, he will achieve perfection, just by hearing, even if he doesn't practice. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, okay, now I got a way out, now I don't have to practice, I just come to class and do whatever I want. The realization will be slow. This is not meant to glorify not practicing. It's meant to glorify how powerful hearing is just by hearing. And we don't have much time, in this, especially in this Kali Yuga. Our life is very short. We have no idea when we're going to die. Just like last night we got the word. One very nice devotee that I knew, Rajavalavi, she was riding on a rickshaw to the Govardhan retreat, and truck hit and she died. She can't be more than maximum 20 years old. So we don't know when everybody can say a prayer. Rajavalavi, very wonderful devotee. But last night she died on the way to Govardhan. So we don't know when we're going to die. We don't know that we have so much time, so better to practice. But how the hearing is so powerful that it will give you perfection. It's from... What's the question? Because of the crowd, huh? What is the main difference in symptoms that can be seen and what advances from a Sakti to Bhav? Can you please give some examples from the scriptures? No, I can't, as a matter of fact. But anyway, as I said, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kanami explains that it's all, we can't say that this is where Sakti ends and this is where Bhava Bhakti begins. It's all a continuation. Is there any other example of a devotee falling down from Bhav level than Bharat Maharaj? Right now I can't think right now. Does an Narta Nivritti goes on till Bhav level? Yes. It says here that even still the Bhava he has Anartha, so now the emphasis is not so much in getting rid of the Anartha, the emphasis on serving Krishna. Is there any specific reason why Rupa Goswami did not reveal that he terminated Bhakti Rasa Sindhu at Terkada? But that you'll have to ask him. Because he likes to be poetic, he just said it in a poetic way. Left it for us to figure it out. Is it possible to develop some ruchi or bhav at the lower stages of bhakti? Yes, of course, that we were discussing that sometimes just by associating devotees, one shows some shadow attachment. It's called shadow attachment. So sometimes that's why associating devotees is so important. But real Bhava Bhakti is when we're completely steady on that platform. Sometimes we don't know we are doing aparasa.